I call the Honourable Member Claire Curran.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'd like to congratulate you on your new appointment. I'd like to address Part 2 of the bill, Financial Markets Regulators and Kiwisaver Bill, and the supplementary order paper moved by my colleague, the Honourable Leanne Dalzell. First of all, I'd like to say that I was very pleased to hear the Minister, Simon Power, talk earlier about taking responsibility and that the importance of the new, and with regard to the new Financial Markets Authority, which replaces the powers of all those agencies that have been mentioned, and having wider enforcement and surveillance powers. He referred to the previous agencies and the behaviours that went on with a number of those agencies as being in a staring competition and consequently not taking responsibility for the obvious issues that were occurring that have ended up in a situation that we're in, where we need to create a new Financial Markets Authority. Well, all I could think of while he was saying that was good. Yes, I agree with that, but I also wish that his government would take its own advice or practice what it preaches. When we heard today in this House the Prime Minister attempt to dodge responsibility for the mishandling of the South Canterbury finance collapse. And so I'd like to put that on the record, because that is a clear area of where responsibility needs to be taken, and I'm sure that other colleagues will have more to say about that. I'd also like to reiterate what other colleagues have said about all the other issues that are raised by my colleague Leanne Dalzell in the supplementary order paper, in particular, and also to endorse what my colleague Charles Chevelle said around celebrity endorsements. There is something wrong, definitely wrong, when a person who is considered an icon in society or a trusted person confront a company's product and lend them their brand and then have it turn out to be a lie. I consider that to be deception at the highest level. We don't seem in place that can really truly address that, and we've had countless submitters coming before the Select Committee, either on this bill or on the financial collapse inquiry, who are raising that it's morally wrong and it should be wrong in law. And if you want to talk about taking responsibility, that's another clear area where we could make some headway. I also want to endorse the comments by a number of my colleagues around financial literacy. This is a critical issue. It's an endemic issue in our society, right throughout our society, with the complexities of understanding or lack of understanding of how people can understand whether they're considering being investors, or whether they're considering any documentation of any kind. It's been raised again and again. It's a known issue across society at all levels and at all ages. And it's particularly in this digital age, it's certainly something that needs to be addressed, and addressed quickly. It's been raised in the Select Committee that I sit on by a number of significant bodies, the Retirement Commission, the Securities Commission, as being an area of critical importance. And I certainly think that it's if this government was to do anything meaningful to underpin this new legislation, that's an area that urgently needs to be addressed. And as my colleague Leanne Dalzell says in the supplementary order paper, that communications with customers is absolutely critical, and a firm must pay due regard to the information needs of its customers and communicate information to them in a way which is clear, fair and not misleading. Responsible lending. as my colleague Carol Beaumont pointed out, is another area of critical importance. I note.
I call the Honourable David